Do you fear a deadline, need a deadline, or love a deadline? Hey, everybody, we are talking about procrastination. I'm Pat Laurie. And, this time of year, it can be a little dicey because we are so overwhelmed with all that we have to do. But wouldn't it be so cool if you had a roadmap? Now, I'm thinking a little bit ahead now into 2024 and thinking about how I want to get organized. And wouldn't it be incredible if you had a roadmap to kind of like, get yourself on the right path and stop that procrastination. I am a deadline driven kind of girl, being in video production and TV and all that. It's not a bad thing. If I didn't have a deadline, I don't even know what I would do. But I'm going to bring on in just a second Dr. Sarah Reiff-Hekking, and she's a clinical psychologist, an author, and a speaker, and she knows a lot about how to get stuff done. Sarah, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me, Pat.
So, Sarah, you're going to be joining the NSA Connecticut chapter in January to talk about how to stop procrastinating, how to start getting things done. Tell me, what is the biggest problem you see with people like me? I mean, did I say that?
Well, I love that you self-identified. It's always fun to do that. So the biggest problem is sometimes if deadlines are the only way for you to get something done, then you really want to notice, are there other ways to really get over that big hump and use time in ways that work better for you? So oftentimes, if we don't have a deadline, we have that big project that just sort of keeps sliding into the next day and sliding into the next day and sliding into the next day, and then like hogs all this space on your to-do list and you never get to it and you feel overwhelmed and, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? Yeah.
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 Actually, wait, I got to show you something. I've got like a basket full of stuff here. It's like stuff that I should do at some point.
Yes. Yes. So I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. Yeah.
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 Because
So
you know why? Because I don't wanna do it. That's the problem? So how do we get ourselves to do stuff that we really don't wanna do is the question.
yeah. So there's so many subtleties here, but the first question is ask yourself, why do I care about this thing? That is a super powerful tip that people can grab and, use right off this quick interview.
Mhm.
Ask yourself why you care. Because sometimes, we get bored with things. Yeah, bored. We get bored. We're tired. It doesn't feel like the right time of day. We're not motivated, right? All of these things make it really easy just to say, I'm not going to do it now. So you have to ask yourself, why do I care about that thing? How is it related to my long term goals, who I want to be in the world? And what's really the benefit of doing it and just getting it done, right?
Yes, yes, and I think sometimes, what happens, I don't know, with me maybe is, I've got all these things on my list, and then I feel good when I check things off, but the brain always wants to look for more things on a list or make another list for some reason, which is
Yes.
a problem because then it never ends, right?
Right, absolutely. And I work with tons of people like that where you have many, many lists or like 87 lists on 57 sticky notes in 6 different rooms in your car, right? And all of these yes, 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 yes.
Have you been looking around my office?
Yeah, I can read minds, I can see through screens. Yeah. So I work with people on those issues all the time. And one of the things to do is just start to notice what's not working for you,
Mhm.
right? And the multiple lists that say the same thing is not working for you in many, many different places. So one of the things when I start to work with people on procrastination and overwhelm is um, is to really get clear about what are all of those things that are overwhelming you. We have to start with that, right? The first step is recognize what's overwhelming you. And then we can talk about really important tools that are going to work and help you. But first, we have to figure out what is setting off all of those alarm bells. What is making it hard to think? And what does overwhelm feel like for you so you can recognize it when it's coming up? So that's a really important thing. And those projects on your to-do list are just another thing that overwhelms you, right? And that's why you're not getting to it because you're like, it's overwhelming or it's boring and overwhelming.
Boring. That's the nail on the head right there. Because there's a lot of things that I have to do, but there's a lot of resistance that I create, and a lot of us create in our own minds because we just don't want to do these things like, you know, online bill paying or whatever it is. But obviously, we have to do things like this. So when you come to visit our chapter in January, you are going to give us a 5-step system on how to stop the overwhelm and how to actually have a roadmap to getting stuff done, right?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about my 5-step system that helps you bust through procrastination and overwhelm, manage those emotions that get in the way of doing stuff that you know you can and need to be doing, right?
Hmm.
And it's very simple, it's very doable, it's reproducible, and it starts with recognizing what's overwhelming you. So you can just start to ask yourself as you go through your day, what is overwhelming me? And then bring that information when you come to the talk, and I'm going to help you work through that.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, one of the things that helped me was reading the book Atomic Habits. I just love that book because it's little tiny actions that you can do every single day and they build on one another. Do you like that book at all?
Yes, I love that. First of all, James Clear, brilliant, has some really, really good, just little quips in there that help you stay on track. Really good information, very practical. And that's also how I roll, very practical. So, lots of times, what's the most important thing is helping you figure out how to keep doing the thing that helps you keep the overwhelm and the procrastination at bay, right? And those are small steps that we practice and that we figure out how to keep doing and become part of who we are.
I have to ask you something. Now, is procrastination a problem? Do type A people have this problem too, or is it just creative people?
I think everybody has some version of it. Everybody has some version of that thing that they're not getting to. I think it's very, very universal. I think that creative people and I will say experience it emotionally, I think more often, but I think it really hits all of us at different times in our lives and in different situations. And it's really why, and this is another thing I'm going to talk about in the talk is, it's why we need to really think about how our environment supports what we're doing and interacts with us not being able to do the things that we want to do.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Really, really important. So self-talk and what you're saying to yourself about things is really important,
Hmm.
but it's not the only thing. So we have to talk about those other pieces.
I love it. Yeah, and I think you might be referring to like my workspace has to be clear for me to think clearly.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to learning more about how we can sort of harness what we need to get done, be more productive, and maybe be happier being more productive too. Because I think that's the key. Because you can't just be a machine getting it all done, because that's.
Exactly, exactly. So we have to talk about what does productivity look like for you and in relationship to the whole life that you want to create, right? And when I work more closely with people, Pat, we really talk about the whole life because it's very easy to get good at one part of your life, but the other part is falling apart,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, no,
And we
absolutely.
don't want that. We want the whole life to feel lovely and to feel joyful and to feel however you want it to feel, right?
Yes.
Knowing that you can get the right stuff done during the workday and all of the other stuff that you want to get done outside of work.
Wow. Sounds like it's going to be a fascinating session. And I kind of get the feeling that we might be talking about like define who are we and what do we really want? And that might be sort of like very central to maybe getting stuff done. I don't know, but we'll find out on January 10th. And Sarah, thank you so much for joining me. And we will look forward to seeing you in person in New Haven at the Elms Club on January 10th at 5:30. Until then, I hope you get a lot of stuff done, Sarah.
You too, Pat.
Be
And at
happily
least,
productive. Be happily productive, and we will see you soon.
yes, enjoy the year end.
Okay, and if you'd like to join us for getting stuff done, stop procrastinating, and learn how to move forward at a better pace, please go to nsact.org.